What's going on, YouTube? This is Boxingwave. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also follow me on all social media platforms at Boxingwave10. Now, pound for pound, I don't do them anymore. You guys know how I feel about it. But I had some downtime. I was playing around with a list. I said, if I were to do a pound for pound list, right, top 10, how would it look? Started playing around with it. Had about 8-9 guys there. I think once I got to 10, things started to get a little bit difficult for me to decide. But there are going to be people that are going or not going to be on this list that you are expecting to be on this list. All right. My list is not really influenced by any other list. I'll explain my criteria on how I decided with these group of fighters here, and we'll go from there. My criteria is, first off, there's no heavyweights on this list. Okay, no heavyweights. It's not that I don't think they're deserving of it. I think Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua arguably could be on the list. If we're talking about skills and accomplishments and stuff like that, yes, they definitely fit the criteria of being on this list. But they're heavyweights, and the thing is, this list was basically created because judging on skills outside of obviously the heavyweight guys. If they were to get into a real fight with all these smaller guys, most likely they would beat them because of size alone. This is why we have weight classes. All right. But yeah, if they were on this list, or if I were doing a list with heavyweights, Joshua and Fury would arguably probably be on the list somewhere. All right. But they're not. All right. And plus, I would like to see them fight each other. Hopefully we can get that fight this year. All right. So heavyweights is not on this list. It's not saying that they don't deserve to be on the list, but they're not. Okay. Another thing, if you are coming off a loss, all right, coming off of a loss, you're not on a list. Okay. And that's for the Lomachenko people. I know a lot of people are going to be upset with that. They're going to hit the dislike button, and they're going to leave because Lomachenko is not on this list. Lomachenko is a top 5 pound for pound-ish fighter still, even with the loss. It's just that I don't know where to really place him. You know, I would just be placing him on a list for the sake of placing him coming off of a loss, and because I just think he belongs there. But I don't know where to put him at on a list when you are coming off of a loss. Okay, so it's not that I don't think he belongs there because he lost a fight. I just don't know where to place him when you're losing a fight. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna have surgery, or you had surgery. I just want to see how you look when you return to the ring. And if you're looking as good as you normally would, then you'll probably be right back on the list. If I do another pound for pound thing, you know, I don't know if this, I'm kind of going to just do this, see how the reaction is to it. And if I feel like doing another one maybe next year, then I'll do it next year, in the beginning of next year, right? But so those are the two things. There are other people that are not on this list that I feel that it's going to be a bit controversial, but I'll explain that at the end of this video, okay? After I do the list itself. All right. My criteria is based on accomplishments. All right. And when I say accomplishments, there are certain things that I view as being a higher accomplishment than other fighters. All right. I think undisputed is the very best thing that you can be. If you become an undisputed thing, I think that's the very elite thing that you can be in your respected divisions. Now, if you're undisputed, but there are several other fighters that's undisputed, well, then now I'm going based on, okay, well, you're undisputed, but how many divisions did you win titles in? Or, you know, then it goes personal, who I think has a higher skill set, you know, but skill set comes into play, undisputed, then unified, or maybe not unified, but maybe unified and what is another thing? You know, are you lineal? You know, are you the man in your division? Are you the lineal ring magazine? I think that's a big thing. Or are you a World Boxing Super Series tournament winner? Okay, and how did you win the tournament? Not every tournament has the very best fighters in each tournament. So if you won a tournament where the very best in your division was in that tournament, for the most part, did you have to fight some of the best fighters to win that Muhammad Ali trophy? Then that's a big, accomplishment to have. Plus, if you are lineal champion, unified champion, and multiple division champion, which I just don't rate as high as the undisputed and the unified and the lineal champion, stuff like that. So yes, there's a lot of title holders out there. There's a lot of guys that has won titles in different divisions. But how much work did you do in that specific division that you were a champion? Okay. All of these guys are champions. None of them are guys coming off of losses or anything like that. And also, I'm basing it off what I've seen on paper, not basing it just strictly on the performance itself and how I felt about the fight, So let's get started with this list. Canelo Alvarez is number one. I have Canelo as number one. A lot of you already know that because I've said it before, and I've had him at number one for quite some times. Canelo has officially won titles in 4 different divisions. Another reason is his resume. The people he's faced people I didn't think he would beat. He's faced people that are good in several different divisions. Okay, he's good, man. I think his skill set. I think he's one of the best fighters currently in boxing, and I think he's a generational great already. He's at number one, and it wasn't really hard for me to come to that decision. The reason why a lot of people don't feel like he should be number one is because of the tainted meat situation. I think it's because of the judges in some of his fights, robberies, gifts, stuff like that. I don't think he won all of his fights, okay? I don't think he won the Lara fight. I don't think he won, or the first Triple G fight should have been a draw. I don't even think he won the second fight, but I think that fight was very debatable, okay? I did think he won the first viewing. Second and third viewing of that fight, I thought Triple G won the fight, okay? I remember watching that fight in a fight party setting, so I wasn't really scoring it like that, but when I got to sit down and watch it, I think Triple G still edged the second fight, but very debatable fight. The first fight was clear for Triple G, in my opinion. All right, so there are fights there where you got the Floyd Mayweather fight where, a judge scored it as a draw, which was crazy, but was clear win for Floyd. So I get it. I get why people don't like Canelo, but at the same time, a lot of people feel that he cherry picks. I don't like every move Canelo makes, and I don't like every fight that he has. But there's no fighter that I can sit here and say that I agree with every move that they make. Mayweather, Pacquiao, there are some fights that I feel that they cherry pick, and I think that Canelo has done the same, and I think every other fighter is doing the same. All right, but Canelo overall has the best resume. He is the best fighter in the world to me. All right, as far as resume and accomplishments and stuff like that. All right, number 2, Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, in my opinion, is the most gifted fighter in the world. My personal. Now, this is just solely my opinion. I don't think he has the accomplishments as Canelo. I think he's done. I think he's done a lot. Obviously, for me to have him at number 2, but I think I have Bud there because he's won titles in 3 different divisions. He's been undisputed before, and he's dominated everybody he's faced. All right. Do I think he's fought the level of fighters that Canelo has faced throughout his career? I don't. And that's what removes him from number 1. That's a personal thing for me. He's fought some good fighters. I think the fighters that he's fought should get a lot more credit than what people do, especially, the Errol Spence people that think that Bud hasn't fought anyone. I don't agree with that. I think the fighters that he's faced were very good. They were good when he faced them. Okay, they weren't cherry-picked fighters. All right, they were the fighters that were available at that time, or that were top guys at that time. So in their respected divisions, okay, Terence Bud Crawford did what he was supposed to do throughout his career. There's more I want to see. Obviously, I want to see him fight Spence. I would love to see Manny Pacquiao fight. I'm cool with him fighting Sean Porter or Danny Garcia or even Keith Thurman or any of these guys in the welterweight division. All those PBC guys, I want to see them fight. I would love to see Bud fight them all. I mean, he fought Kell Brook, which was fine with me, even though Kell Brook is past it. Still a good fight. He fought Mir Khan. I wasn't crazy about the fight, but I understand what they were trying to do there. They were trying to get the names on his resume because these are not PBC fighters and they needed the names and stuff like that. But Bud, talented, can do everything, and he's been moving up in weight and stopping all of his opponents as he's moving up in weight. As he's still the smaller guy, he moved up, beat who he had to beat. One thing I will say is that, yeah, I hope he doesn't stay on Top Rank. I hope he goes to PBC, because even if you don't want to deal with Bud and all of what these guys been saying about you, I know a lot of fans or try to criticize him and talk trash about him. At the end of the day, the PBC, if you're staying at welterweight, the PBC has the best fighters. And even at 154, the PBC still has the best fighters. So whatever you decide to do, I think that you shouldn't re-sign with Top Rank. They did the most they could with you in your career, and that's it. All right. Number 3, Teofimo Lopez. All right. For obvious reasons, he's number 3 because he may not be officially undisputed. I know the WBC recently came out and said that he is. His video is not whether or not he's undisputed. All I know is that he is currently holding 4 titles in his division, the 4 main titles, and he is the lineal champion. All right, he is also the Ring Magazine champion. He is the legit champion, and he beat the man. He chased after him his entire career. Since he was young, since he was a prospect, he's been calling out Lomachenko. He's been talking about Lomachenko. He's been wanting to fight. He's been pushing, one of the very, very, very few short list of fighters that's been pushing to fight Lomachenko, where other fighters were trying to avoid him. Okay, so Teofimo Lopez won the fight to me. I thought he won pretty clear to me. I think Lomachenko did rally on the second half of that fight, but I had the fight score 8-4. I gave the first 7 rounds to Teo. I gave 8, 9, 10, 11 to Loma, and I gave the final round to Teo as well. I think the second round was very debatable, but outside of that, I have Teo winning. Even if I were to give the round to Lomachenko, it would still be 7-5, 7 rounds to 5 for Teo for me. Okay, but look, Teofimo Lopez, that win against Nakatani looks really, really good now. Now that he knocked out Felix Verdejo, okay, knocking out Coleman in 2 rounds, just blowing him away. Very, very impressive win against a champion. And he beat Lomachenko, who was a legitimate 3-belt title holder, all right, in the 135 division. He beat him on points, and I thought it was clear. I was impressed by it. And I think he belongs at number 3 because that was the best win in boxing in a while. That was the best win. He beat a legit pound-for-pound fighter. Wherever you had him ranked, number 1, number 2, number 3, Lomachenko was a top 5 guy, and he's been a top 5 guy for a while. And there's no other boxing pound-for-pound fighter that has a win that good on their resume, and that's why he's number 3. Whether you think he's undisputed or not, I personally don't think. I think he should be, but I think the WBC screwed that up. Lomachenko screwed that up with the whole franchise title thing. But officially, as far as what these fighters did to win their titles, Lomachenko, Teo, those guys are the real champion. Much respect to Devin Haney. He's a good fighter. I like him, but he didn't win his title. All right. So anyway, I have Teofimo Lopez at number 3. Number 4, Naoya Inoue. 118 destroyer. Okay, he is the main guy at 118. He's unified. He's lineal champion. He's Ring Magazine champion. He's won the World Boxing Super Series, and he has titles in 3 different divisions. He's a KO artist. I mean, he can box well. I mean, I have to have him at number 4, and I think after those first 3 for me, I think this is when it starts getting a little bit debatable because you got other guys that accomplish a lot too. But Inoue, I have him at number 4. I just love his skill set. I like his punching power. I think he's fun to watch. And this is the thing. He's clearly the man in his division. He's won other titles in other divisions, which a lot of fighters do. But in the division that he's currently in, he's fought good fighters. He's won the World Boxing Super Series tournament. And he's the real champion. There's no other guys that may be the best in the division. No, he is the clear best fighter. And this is what I mean about pound for pound. If I don't think you're the clear best fighter, there's only one division in this whole, and we'll get to it, but there's only one division where I think 2 fighters are in the division on this list. There's only one, in my opinion. All right, so Inoue, number 4, without a doubt. And let's move on to the next one. Number 5, Oleksandr Usyk. Number 5. World Boxing Super Series winner at cruiserweight. Undisputed champion at cruiserweight. When he was in cruiserweight, he went through everybody. And a couple of guys that he didn't face, it was only because they had just previously lost to someone else right before he got to them. So not only did he beat the current best cruiserweight in Briedis, but he fought all the other top guys that was there. He turned pro and went straight after the top dogs. Now he's up in heavyweight. Now what can he do as a heavyweight? I really don't know. I seen him beat Derek Chisora, which is a good win. It's a good win. All right, is he champion yet at heavyweight? No, but when you're moving up, when you're starting as a pro, as a cruiser, there's not so much you can really do except move up to that one final division. So I have him at number 5. I would like to see what he can do at heavyweight. I know he's the WBO mandatory. I know he wants his title shot against AJ, and that's cool. But I really want to see AJ and Fury fight first because these guys are career heavyweights and they're so close. And I hope it happens. They're saying it's going to happen, but I hope these two get to fight this year. And that's the only thing left that I really want to see with Usyk. All right. But I have him at my number 5. All right. And he'll remain in that space until he takes a loss as a heavyweight or whatever end up happening. All right. Number 6, I have Jermell Charlo. I have Jermell Charlo as the number 6 spot. Jermell Charlo is a career light middleweight, junior middleweight, okay? Super welterweight, 154. There's been a lot of champions there over the years. There's been a lot of guys there. Canelo was there. Canelo moved up. All right, Jermell, his twin brother, moved up. Jermell Charlo was, he's super middleweight champion. Demetrius Andre moved up. All right, and there was a lot of guys. You had Herb. You had J-Rock. You had a lot of guys. Miguel Cotto was there. There's a lot of guys that's been there, but Jermell Charlo is the only unified champion. He holds 3 titles. 3 titles. And he's the lineal champion. He's the legit champion. There's no disputing anything. He is the legit champion at 154. Patrick Chisora is the only other belt holder, and he's not on a level as all the other guys that Jermell Charlo faced. Now, I think he needs to win that title to become undisputed. If he is to become undisputed, maybe we can move him up a notch on that list. But he's number 6 right now because he has 3 titles, and I know he has a loss, but he was able to avenge that, a very controversial loss. But he has a loss, but he was able to stop the fighter that beat him on points. So when you lose, but you avenge your loss, I don't care about the loss. And when you avenge your loss by KO, don't really care about the loss. You lost, but you beat him up in a rematch. All right? And he's already defended those titles. He's defended his titles. He's a legit champion. He's a true champion in his division. He's truly the man in his division. Shout out to Derek James for transforming him to who he is today. Very, really good look. But he's a KO artist at this point. He was always a good boxer. But for him to be who he is now, he's unstoppable. He looks unstoppable at the division. And to me, there's no other person in the division. You know, I would like to see, Brian Castano and Patrick Teixeira fight each other, and then we can get a real undisputed fight. But it's clear to me that all of these guys that's there, Hurd, Lara, all of these guys, Jermell is the only one still standing. All right, and he holds 3 titles, and this is why I have him at number 6. All right. The next few, very, very tricky, very, very debatable, and depending on their next fight, some of their next fights, it could change very quick. All right. Number 7, I have Errol Spence Jr. This is the only other fighter on this division where there's 2 fighters in the same division. Okay. Errol Spence Jr. is unified at the welterweight division. All right. He's unified at the division. And that's it. He holds 2 titles. He's unified. He's undefeated. He has wins against Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and now Danny Garcia. Had his car accident, was able to come back and look very impressive against Danny. And I thought he would beat Danny better than anybody else that faced Danny up to this point. Everybody else has split decision wins and close fights. Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, all these guys had some debatable ones there with Danny. They had Lamont Peterson and Mauricio Herrera. All of these guys had close fights with him and stuff like that, but Errol made it a clear win coming off a layoff, coming off of an accident, a fight where people didn't even think he would win, didn't think he would be durable anymore. He took some big shots from Danny, and he was able to, I wouldn't say destroy him, but he beat him worse than anybody else has ever beaten Danny throughout the entire fight. Very impressive win, and I have him at number 7. I would like to see him fight Terence Crawford. You guys know how I feel about that. Bud is holding a title. Manny Pacquiao is holding a title. Doesn't seem like Manny, based on his most recent comments, has any interest on fighting either one of these guys. But regardless, the only thing with Bud is I just need to know if he's the man in his division. I know that as a welterweight, he's more accomplished than Terence Bud Crawford. But Bud is not a career welterweight. All right? He's not a career, and he's been sitting at this division. This is a guy that was pound for pound coming into the division. He was already a pound for pound guy, wherever you place him, like a top 3 guy. So as a welterweight, when a guy like that is sitting in your division, and you, Errol Spence Jr., actually have Bud in your personal top 5, and you haven't fought him yet, it's hard for me to put you in a top 5 when this guy is sitting in your division and you haven't even faced him yet. Okay, so that's why I have Errol so much further down from where I had Bud, because Bud career accomplishments versus Spence in that division, 2 titles. Can't put him above Jermell Charlo neither, because Jermell holds 3 titles in his division, and he's a lineal champion. He's a Ring Magazine champ, whereas Errol isn't. All right, none of them are in my. None of these guys are lineal champion in the welterweight division. All right, Ring Magazine champion at welterweight doesn't exist. Some of these guys need to face each other. All right, specifically Errol and Terence Buzz Crawford. Number 8, Josh Taylor. This was very hard. Josh Taylor, I was really trying to decide where to put the two because Josh Taylor is a World Boxing Super Series tournament winner. Okay. He is the lineal champion and he is unified. Okay. He is unified. So yes, he can arguably put him above Errol just because Josh has proven to be the man in his division more so than Errol has proven to be the man in his division. The thing is, though, Errol, between the two, and this is when it becomes my opinion here, Errol, between the two of them, has fought guys that were very much more proven in order to win his titles over Josh. Whereas Josh, he fought a lot of guys, that were kind of younger. Yeah, champions like Karol Relic. Oh, not Karol Relic. Baranchik, I'm sorry. Regis Prograis beat Karol Relic. Prograis, you guys know I love Prograis. He's probably one of my top 10 favorite active boxers to watch. Love watching him. I actually thought Prograis was going to win the fight. Prograis, very experienced, amateur and stuff like that, but not much proven as junior welterweight. Not in comparison to the guys that Errol beat. Same thing with Baranchik. Baranchik, beat Anthony Yiggett for his first, undefeated Yiggett. Was a good win, but he lost to Josh Taylor, and he lost to Zepeda by getting knocked out too. Just not sure how good Baranchik is as a boxer overall. Just not sure. All right. The same with Regis Prograis. I'm just not sure. I know Regis is good, and I think he's a lot more promise and is a higher ceiling when it comes to him. But I'm just not sure. I think the Victor Postal win, somewhere between Victor Postal and Regis Prograis, those two wins, very good win, probably his best two wins. In comparison to Errol Spence, though, Errol Spence 3 best wins: Kell Brook, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia. Danny, who proved a lot as a junior welterweight too. He was at that division as well. I had to just compare, and after thinking about it, I had to put Errol slightly above Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor is supposed to be fighting Jose Ramirez soon, who is the other unified champion in the division. If Josh Taylor is to win that fight, he's definitely going to be moving. He's going to be blowing past a few of these guys on his list. All right. So we'll see what happens then. But for now, I have Errol barely over him. And then right under Josh, I have Artur Beterbiev, who is another 2-division title holder in the 175 division. All right. I actually think his win against Gvozdyk was a great win. It's a spectacular win. He has a good amount of good, solid wins on his record. But he's been plagued with injuries. He's been plagued with postponements and all kinds of stuff, COVID-19. There's still a little bit more work I want to see. Currently, he's a top guy at 175, without a doubt. Currently, yes. But he didn't fight Kovalev. He didn't fight Stevenson. He beat Gvozdyk, who beat Stevenson. And that's Stevenson on his very tail end of his career. So he did retire Stevenson, but he beat Gvozdyk. And Gvozdyk went on to retire after that one loss. All right. So that was a big win, But I respect Josh Taylor's win and Errol Spence's wins a little bit more than Beterbiev. Gvozdyk, great win. You can make an argument that win was better than the other two. That sole win, but other ways, the other person he beat for the title, can't think of his name off top. There's still other fights I want to see with him. Just couldn't place him above the other two, but he should definitely be pound for pound because he's unified and he has a good, actual, legit win. He beat the man who beat the man, which was Adonis Stevenson. Even though he was past it and he was towards the end, he's getting kind of older, still a great win to pick up, still a great stoppage. Luckily, Stevenson was able to survive that. All right, and move on from there. Number 10, Mairis Briedis. All right, the most recent World Boxing Super Series tournament winner. He is the man at cruiserweight. I know currently he's not currently unified, but he won the tournament, and some of the best fighters was in that tournament. Okay, and to me, he only lost to Oleksandr Usyk, a guy that is one of the best fighters in the world, a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter to me. He lost to that one guy, and that fight was razor sharp close. Like, that was a very, very close fight. It was definitely Usyk's closest and toughest fight. All right, so a lot of people believe that Usyk lost that fight. It was a great, it was a great fight and very close one, and Briedis went on to take over the division. All right, the belts are kind of spread it out. He may be moving to bridgerweight or heavyweight. I'm not sure what he's going to do next. But he beat Dorticos in the finals, and Dorticos has been one of the top fighters, top gunners there. And I had to put him in there because he's the current top guy at cruiserweight to me. All right, and that's my list. That's my list. May I add, he did go at one point. He did go up to heavyweight and knock out Manuel Char. So you can't forget that win too. That's a very good win also to have on your book. So anyway, even though it wasn't a championship fight, Char is still a solid heavyweight, and that's someone to have on your resume, especially the fact that he knocked him out. All right, so that's my top 10. Now, let me explain a couple of things. Super flyweight. That's the first thing. I know a lot of you are saying, wow, you don't have Estrada on here. You don't have Roman Gonzalez on here. You don't have Ioka here. Well, the reason why I don't have them on there is because I was trying to figure out which one to put there when they're all three in the same division and they haven't fought each other. We know that Estrada and Roman Gonzalez beat each other they fought and Gonzalez beat him the first time. But the three of them, multiple divisional championship titles won. They're all three of them accomplished a lot. But which one do you put on a list? Which one? And that's why I didn't add them to the list, because two of them are about to fight. And I think the winner of the two of that fight should be on this list. They should be on this list. But they haven't fought yet. We're in January. These guys haven't fought yet. And I don't know where to place them. Ioka recently beat Tanaka. Great win. 4 division weight champion. That's cool. But between the three, a lot of their accomplishments are somewhat similar. Because they won titles in multiple divisions. But I can't tell who's the best between the three. I can't tell. And that was my hardest part of this list, was trying to decide between the three who should be on this list. It kind of narrowed down for me. It kind of narrowed down to Ioka or Estrada, because Roman Gonzalez, I think he had the most recent loss between the three. No, I think Estrada did. I think he lost to Soran Risai in the first fight. And in the second fight, he went on to beat him. But there's too much that need to be done. And I said this in a video I did about 115 the other day. I really don't know who's the best. And part of this list is proving that you're the man in your current division. I think the only division that I have 2 fighters in was Spence and Crawford. And the thing is, Crawford, I think he's overall the more accomplished boxer, whereas Spence is the more accomplished welterweight. All right. So I thought that was pretty clear. But when it comes to these three, I really don't know, because they've all fought, they fought each other. They have losses. And I don't know who's the best currently. And I'm not talking about what they did before or who won fights before. I'm talking about right now. I don't know. It was too hard for me to decide where to place these guys. And I think Triple G just missed the list. He missed the list because right now, I don't know where to place him on the list. I know what he's accomplished, all right? But I don't know where to place him right now. I don't think he lost to Canelo. But I'm going based on what's on paper. And on paper, he doesn't have a win over Canelo. Okay? And right now, you have other champions in the division. And I don't know which one is the best one because there's Andre there. There's Charlo there. Yes, as a middleweight, Triple G has accomplished more than what those guys have. Obviously. Not trying to argue that. But as of right now, I don't know where to place him. I don't know where. And that's the reason why he just missed my list. I actually put Briedis ahead of him. Because at least with Briedis, I know he's the man in his division. Triple G, he's the most accomplished in his division. But I need a little bit more. A little bit more. I think he just missed it. We'll see what happens in this next fight. But for right now, I put Briedis over Triple G. All right. So anyway, that's my list, man. Let me know what you guys think. I will do a follow-up. I will do a live video basically talking about this with you guys. Tomorrow morning, I plan on going live and talking about this list and talking about other things tomorrow morning. I'll be back and we can chat and talk about this list and the things you disagree with the list, the people you would have added, whatever, but that's the way I have my list put together. All right. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I will be reading. I look forward to reading your comments. Thank you for supporting. Make sure you like the video, dislike the video, whatever it is. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. And I'll see you guys on the next live. Peace.